Welcome to this fascinating episode of the early history of Bigfoot, stories and encounters from 1880s through 1960s. Today, we're delving into a unique crossroad between folklore and culture, specifically, how Bigfoot has influenced literature and art from the 1880s to the 1960s. It's an intriguing topic, not just for those curious about cryptids, but also for anyone interested in how societal tales evolve into cultural icons. To start, let's consider the cultural significance of Bigfoot during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. In that era, North America was grappling with industrialization, urbanization, and a shifting cultural landscape. Bigfoot, a mysterious presence within the vast rural wilderness, symbolized the unknown and uncharted. Literature and art of the time embraced this enigmatic figure, drawing from deep wells of folklore and human curiosity. At the heart of Bigfoot's entry into literature are early newspaper articles and sensational stories that captured the public's imagination. Stories of giant, hairy creatures roaming the wilderness quickly permeated local folklore. These tales often appeared in local newspapers across the United States and Canada, playing with a blend of fear, fascination, and sometimes humor. Back then, communities were interactive in sharing these stories, leading to a communal belief system reinforced by narrative. One can't overlook the role of newspapers in elevating Bigfoot from a local legend to broader cultural consciousness. For instance, stories about the wild man of the woods often made sensational headlines. These articles were more than just news. They were a doorway to a world waiting to be explored, and they left readers pondering the fine line between myth and reality. A few examples of newspaper reports include a 1934 British Columbia article titled, "Are They the Last Cavemen?" That detailed the Sasquatch phenomenon in British Columbia. It described encounters and stories from locals about mysterious hairy giants inhabiting the region's caves and forests. Another British Columbia newspaper named The Province out of Vancouver, British Columbia, wrote a 1957 article about Albert Ostman, a Canadian prospector, recounting his alleged 1924 abduction by a Sasquatch near Toba Inlet. He claimed to have been held captive by a family of the creatures for 6 days before escaping. Ostman had kept his story private for over 30 years before sharing it with the newspaper. The Humboldt Times, in 1958, wrote about Jerry Crew, a bulldozer operator in Humboldt County, discovering large, human-like footprints in the Six Rivers National Forest. Reporter Andrew Genzoli covered the story, introducing the term Bigfoot to describe the mysterious creature believed to be responsible for the tracks. This article played a significant role in popularizing the Bigfoot legend in American culture. And lastly, during the early 1960s, multiple reports emerged of an ape-like creature, later dubbed the skunk ape, in Central Florida. One notable account involved a family encountering a hairy bipedal creature near their rural home, including an instance where it peered into a window at night. These sightings contributed to the regional folklore of a Bigfoot-like entity in the southeastern United States. Moving from journalism to literature, several notable works featured Bigfoot and other cryptids, each reflecting the societal issues of their time. These stories were often imbued with themes of nature versus modernity, the known versus the unknown, and humanity's place within a vastly unexplored world. Bigfoot served as a conduit for these existential questions. Take, for example, the serialized adventure stories that were popular in the early 20th century. Authors used Bigfoot not just as a threat lurking in the woods, but also as a symbol of the untamed natural world resisting the encroachments of modern life. These tales often blurred the lines between fiction and ethnography, suggesting that Bigfoot was both a narrative device and a subject of speculative inquiry. Books, including On the Track of Unknown Animals by Bernard Heuvelmans, 1955, delves into cryptozoology and includes sections discussing the possibility of large, unknown hominids like the Sasquatch. The Sasquatch File by John Green, 1968, is a foundational Bigfoot-specific book, collecting sighting reports and early Sasquatch lore from the Pacific Northwest. And The Problem of the Sasquatch by Renee DeHinden and Don Hunter, early mentions in the 1950s, the book fully released later, circulated ideas about Sasquatch sightings before mainstream attention grew. In terms of visual art, Bigfoot's depiction varied greatly. Artists throughout these decades portrayed Bigfoot with a mix of realism and fantasy. Some artists took great strides to depict what witnesses claimed to have seen, while others were more interested in capturing the mythic qualities of Bigfoot. Eerie illustrations and vivid paintings of Bigfoot roaming misty forests draw from elements of romanticism and Gothic sensibilities, underscoring humanity's perpetual fascination with the mysterious. Prominent artists like John James Audubon may not have focused on Bigfoot directly, but their work created a visual language that later artists could adapt. As interest in creatures like Bigfoot grew, so did the repertoire of artistic interpretations, highlighting the flexibility of Bigfoot as both a subject and symbol. The portrayal of Bigfoot in art and literature often mirrored societal values, fears, and interests. For instance, in the shadow of two world wars and the Great Depression, Bigfoot can be seen as a stand-in for the upheaval and uncertainty people faced. The creature became an allegory for the broader existential questions at play in a rapidly changing world. Let's explore a few case studies. One notable piece of literature not mentioned earlier is The Abominable Snowman of the Himalayas, a 1957 novella that paralleled Cold War fears with its portrayals of an elusive, cold climate creature. Though focused on a different creature in a different part of the world, it fed into the Bigfoot mythos by reinforcing the idea of undiscovered species in unexplored regions. Similarly, in art, the works of Charles Lucas, an artist known for his depictions of wilderness and wildlife, often featured enigmatic creatures in the backgrounds, hinting at Bigfoot among them. These subtle nods not only acknowledge Bigfoot's place in the cultural imagination, but also contributed to its enduring presence. Folklore played a crucial role in shaping the narrative surrounding Bigfoot. From indigenous tales of Sasquatch to European settlers' stories of wild men, these narratives were passed down through generations, evolving over time to adapt to new cultural contexts while retaining their core mystery and allure. This rich tapestry of folklore provided fertile ground for artists and writers looking to explore themes of mystery and the uncanny. In conclusion, the artistic and literary legacy of Bigfoot from the 1880s to the 1960s is profound. It reflects not only the changing societal values and fears of those times, but also an enduring human curiosity about the unknown. Bigfoot's infiltration into literature and art has left a lasting imprint on contemporary culture, influencing modern narratives and media that continue to draw inspiration from this cryptic figure. Today's interest in Bigfoot, from documentaries to fiction to art installations, shows how this once regional legend has transcended its origins to become a global cultural phenomenon. As long as humans remain fascinated by the mysteries of the natural world, the legend of Bigfoot will continue to inspire and captivate our imagination. Thank you for joining this episode of the History of Bigfoot. As we continue to explore the evolving narrative of this mythic creature, we invite you to ponder Bigfoot's place in our collective storytelling. Keep your curiosity alive, and who knows, you might just find yourself inspired by the stories lurking in the shadows of the past. Until next time, keep exploring,